Hi, Paige here, the 1 Foot Flipper. Today we're going to take a serious look at the everybody's slowdown in reselling. Stay tuned.
1 Foot Flipper.
Hi, Paige here, the 1 Foot Flipper. How's everybody doing? Normally I'm pretty positive, but I think today's a good time to let's have a real conversation about the state of reselling right now and what's going on. I like to be pretty positive all the time, but I don't think we're in the best environment right now. Doesn't mean that I'm make a bunch of gloom and doom videos. If you want that, you can watch Timmy the Dolphin, the Railroad Reseller, and Trailer Park Flips. They will give you plenty of those videos all on your own, and you don't need to watch me for that. But I thought, let's be realistic about this environment right now. Let's face it, if you're watching this video right now, then your sales are probably down for the year. Probably significantly. While I always stress that you are ultimately responsible for your own success, the world can still throw you all sorts of curveballs, problems, and even nearly impossible situations. I'd kind of like to take a deep dive into the current reseller market situations, but yes, you are still responsible for your own success, which can include figuring out how to navigate bad market situations and downturns and everything else. I chose to work my butt off during the good time, pay my house off, bank a bunch of money, and thus severely reduce the amount of money that I need from 1 month to the rest. So I can navigate these downturns just fine. I probably wouldn't matter to me if I didn't make another dollar on eBay this year, or on YouTube for that matter. But if I didn't make any more money on YouTube, it would mean that nobody was watching my video, so at least I'd hope some people are watching. All right, sales are incredibly down across the board. You might be watching and your sales might be way up, but you're the exception. The majority of sellers out there seem to be having sales at a much lower level than what they're expecting to have or what they've had in the past. Now, I know people have been reporting bad sales every single day since eBay launched. So it's hard to really judge whether or not it's going bad overall, but there's one thing that's pretty easy to judge, and that is what I call the Timmy the Dolphin Index. That is the views and subscribers to YouTube channels that concentrate on the eBay negative, poor sales, and problems. Now, I'm not going to call out any of these channels by their real names, as I think for the most part, they're just reporting their own experience. They don't really have any ulterior motives, except for trying to gain a few more viewers, and, who's not doing that? I'm doing that right now. So I'm not going to worry about that part. None of these YouTubers have ever done anything to me in any way, and I wish them all well. I hope their channels will grow and their sales will skyrocket. I don't really watch these channels, but I do monitor the performance of several of them, and their views and subscribers have overall gone through the roof this year. That tells me that there's a large number of viewers out there who are having poor sales, and they want to watch people who are having something similar to them. They're empathizing with these YouTubers who are having poor sales. So that tells me that sales are bad overall. And in our current environment, we're coming off what's called a black swan event, something that very rarely happens. That was the pandemic. And the pandemic money created a resale environment that was incredibly easy to succeed in. The sellers with good items could barely meet customer demand, and prices of collectibles were at all-time highs because of the amount of government money that was being thrown around, especially with a lot of lower middle class and lower class people suddenly having more money than they've ever had before in their life and nothing to spend it on. So collectibles went to all-time highs, and the amount of resellers overall just exploded. Plenty of people who were, being paid to stay home and not work and probably getting unemployment on top of it. And then they go out and they started reselling. And a lot of those resellers are still around. Unfortunately, the money's gone. There's no more free bucks coming from Uncle Sam. We're now in a high inflation environment. While long-term inflation rises the prices of everything, it tends to tank the values of collectibles, unnecessary items, luxuries, and things like that in the short term, because people have to adjust to the fact that all their essentials are really increasing in value, and salaries tend to lag behind inflation. So people have to, wait until they're making enough money to buy more G.I. Joes and Squishmallows before they can really go out there and start buying. So basically, right now, there are a lot more resellers out there the environment is capable of supporting. Honestly, the best thing that could happen to reselling right now is if just one out of every three resellers just quit today. That would be awesome for the 2/3 of us that were left. I think that would fix it right there. That's not going to happen, though. And also, it doesn't mean that you can't make it or that I can't make it, but it means that it's going to be a much more difficult time to trying to be making it. And this situation isn't going to improve until the number of resellers shrinks or the market expands to support the current number of sellers. I personally believe the eventual recovery will be a combination of those two. Some of the pandemic resellers who were never going to really be in it for the long game will start dropping out. Next year, when they finally issue those 1099 forms that they didn't send last year, I think a whole lot of the I've been selling on eBay for 20 years crowd who never paid any taxes will get that form and they will quit selling. And the market will expand again as people eventually earn more money and get used to the new prices. And we'll have an equilibrium again. We'll have good times again. We will probably never have those pandemic times again in our lifetime. Actually, at least I hope not. At least I hope a whole bunch more people don't die. But that's what's going on right there. Now, unfortunately, every single thing you can personally do to thrive in this environment actually hurts the environment itself overall. You double your listings, yeah, you're pouring more water in the ocean. If everybody did it, it would just make things worse. You can cross-post, but cross-posting does not increase the overall amount of items sold in the marketplace. It just increases the profits of the cross-listing services, assuming you're using them. And it would be really hard to manage a full-size eBay store and cross-post manually. So I'm assuming most people that are cross-posting are either selling a very small amount of items, and thus they barely factor into things, or they're using cross-posting services. Hey, you can promote your listings. Just like cross-posting, that's not going to change the overall number of items that sell. It's just going to increase the amount of money eBay makes, while making the overall seller experience no better than before. Didn't that kind of suck? That everything you can do to make yourself better in this environment just makes the environment itself worse. I guess that's part of capitalism or competition, but I just hate thinking of it that way, but that's exactly what it is. And I wish I could say this was going to be an incredible fourth quarter, but I don't think it's going to be. This time, for the last few years, by this time, coming up a couple of days to Halloween, might be after Halloween when this comes out, I was shipping at least one Christmas ornament every single day. And I've only sold a few Christmas ornaments this month. If that doesn't pick up, I'm going to be liquidating those things, because I have thousands of Christmas ornaments. They've got kids' names on them, or there's blanks where you can write the names on them. You can have my wife write the name, whatever. You can have them write 1footflipper on them if you want to. But those have been bread and butter for me every fourth quarter, every year, and they are barely moving. Same items, same listings. I've even increased the promoted on them, not moving. So I guess the best thing I can say is do whatever you need to do to make it. If you've got the money in the situation, just ride it through. If might be better off you pick up a real job for, well, do that. If you decide, you did it for a few years, this reseller business isn't back to you, and you want to go back to being the vice president of Costco, maybe you should do that. Or if you love it, you just want to try as hard as you can and win anyway, do that. Or maybe you realize that right now your time you're putting in eBay, you'd probably make more money driving Uber. So maybe put some Uber shifts in there reduce the eBay, drive Uber a little bit, and then get back into eBay when it gets better. Do whatever you personally need to do to succeed. I'm not going to tell you what you need to do to get through a time like this, because it's going to be different for everybody. So I guess buckle up, everybody. I don't think this ride is over yet, and it might get worse before it gets better. Hey, I'd like to shout out to Fast Talking Flipper. He only needs a few more subs to get monetized. I'll put a link to him down in the description. If you just, 15 or 20 of you guys go over there, give him a sub. He's got great content anyway. He could be there. That's just, do it as a favor to me if you could. And look down, make sure you're still subbed to me too, because I'm also almost at my 3-year goal for subscriptions, and we're only 10 months in. A handful more subs, and I'll make it there. Thanks. Hope to see you again soon, and I hope your sales improve.